Welcome to The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. Host Randy Chevrier and Sheldon Napastia guide you through great stories that spark great conversations. Two really big guys talking a big game. The boys are locked in and ready to go. Welcome to The Ride.
All right, welcome to The Ride, everybody. Episode 56, and officially our last show of the year, but we're going to make this a good one. This is the Chevy and Nasty Christmas special, brought to you by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Calgary Business Group. Chevy, episode 56. How you feeling, brother?
I feel good. And you know what episode 56 is? Famous 56s that played the game. Trey put it up. None other than yours truly.
Yeah,
56.
Randy Chevrier. We've been waiting a year for this one. Over a year.
Well, yeah, one of the many numbers I wore at the Stampeders. When we hit 60, when we hit 76, those are some of the numbers I wore. But yeah, I was one of the 56s that played for the Stamps. Sheldon, you got a couple here. Thurman, Tony Patrickowski, Scott Coe. You played with Scott.
Oh, the legendary Scott Coe, for sure.
Who's your favorite 56?
Come on, Chev.
You could say Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, well, no, I'll tell you what, buddy, 56. And that's the thing with you. You have worn a bunch of numbers, but I think 56 was that your first number? Anyway, I think of you as 56. You're my 56. I think you came in wearing 76 because of Co or something like that. But to me, 92. You always be number 56.
There you go. Can't wait to hit episode 92. But this is it's our Christmas episode. It's our final episode of the 2024 year. And what an exciting year it's been. Thanks to all of you for joining us. I see everyone there. And we have a great show for you tonight. First of all, like we said, it's our Christmas show, Christmas episode. So we got a special 300-pound poetry for you, Christmas edition. Big treat. We always say it every Monday. We're like, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? We always say the same thing. Don't worry. Something big's going to break on Tuesday. Big trade in the CFL. Also, big news in the political landscape in Canada. My goodness, a bomb got dropped on Monday morning. What else are we talking about?
It's almost like Christmas came early, but yeah, second segment. Guys, we're going to have a little bit of fun here. Trey's going to be going into the second segment. He's going to put a link up there, and that could be dangerous, I guess, but we trust you guys. And if you guys want to get on the show and chat a little bit and talk to us about your favorite Christmas movie, favorite Christmas snack, or just give greetings to the Chevy and Nasty community, who a lot of you guys get to see each other's chats, but don't ever get to talk. Second segment, we're going to open it up. We're going to try to get some of you guys on. Just keep it as clean as you can, as clean as you think fits on Chevy and Nasty. And then
always helps to have a mic and some earbuds. Just saying.
Yeah. The third segment, we're going to finish with our naughty and nice list. A little review of the year, things that we've talked about. Who made the nice list? Who made the naughty list this year? I guess we're going to find out.
It's actually our nasty and nice list, isn't it? It's a nasty and nice list, because it's a little more special when it's us, right?
Yeah, there you go.
And then what's new into 2025 for the ride? This is going to be a great one. I'm excited. I'm excited because you know what? We're going to take a little break. I'm not sure if I'm excited about the break, but there's lots going on in the next couple of weeks. There's lots going on in the show. We're going to try and keep it to an hour like we do, but Trey's the one who suggested it. Maybe we could go a little bit longer. We'll see. But we're glad you're here. And I'm actually glad, Sheldon, the people that are here because it's time for the 300-pound poetry Christmas Carol edition. We won't have music today because this one's a little bit longer. But if you think about one of your favorite childhood Christmas stories, the night before Christmas, this is kind of the tempo that we're going for. So here we go. I'll start it off. It was the night before Christmas when everyone was inside. Not a listener was stirring, because they were catching the ride.
The boys logged on early to the program with care in hopes that Rubio and Rob Evans and others soon would be there.
Bruno and Daryl were listening, and there was Cozy laying soft in his bed, all wishing for a shorter version of a 1-hour ride up ahead.
And Nana Mona in Weyburn and Ernie in Regina, who just settled in to sleep with his wife Diane's nice warm blanket.
When out on the computer, there arose such a chatter. Chevy and Nasty were talking, and I needed to hear what was the matter.
Away to my computer, I logged in like a nerd. I turned up the volume to hear what was the word.
The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow. I actually don't know what that means, but I hear the show.
When what to my wondering eyes could I see? It was Chevy and Nasty reciting poetry.
With a full head of hair, so black and so slick, I knew in a moment Nasty's hair was no trick.
More rapid than commercial breaks, the supporters they came. Chevy whistled and shouted and welcomed them by name.
Hey Rubio, hey Bruno, hey Daryl and Trey. Welcome Rob and Amanda and AC and Jay Munn.
To the top of the comments, be the first to chime in. Now type away, type something in.
As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, they mount to the sky.
So on to the topics. Chevy and Nasty they chewed with their belly full of treats and lots of good food.
And then in a clutter, I heard on the streams, a trade has happened between two CFL teams.
As I drew in my breath and saw Fajardo was traded and McLeod Bethel goes the other way because his luster has faded.
There's so much happening, so much to discuss. How could these moves be made without such a fuss?
Chevy and Nasty knew this to be a topic they'd had to attack, so they told Trey to make graphics, and he had their back.
But there was more to discuss. Some topics were scary. Things inside Canada's Liberal Party were no longer so merry.
Trudeau alone in his home and Freeland left his big mess. He'd have to say that he was done. Surely this he'd confess.
But more things going on. We could spin around like a wreath. Chevy and Nasty need some water. They are dry in their teeth.
But they kept pressing on through the topics, the ones that mattered. This rhyme is too long. Our confidence is shattered.
It's getting there. We can be chubby and plump, some jolly old rhymers. We've done this before. We aren't first timers.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his keyboard tapping. Trey's in the background, making the show happen.
He won't say much, but presses all the buttons. He brings on our guests and supports these 300-pound gluttons.
As we wind up the rhyme, we want to give you all our appreciation. It's the last show of the year, but we'll be back same time, same station.
We do this for you, and we do it with pride. Merry Christmas to all. We hope you enjoy this ride.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody.
And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Trey. Merry Christmas, Nasty. Thank you, Drew. So we're so excited that you're joining us today. So much to talk about.
Well, let's start off with this poem. Dude, this is a book. I don't think I've ever taken like 5 minutes to read a poem before. Is this something it just came to you? Is this a Chat GPT special?
No.
How long did it take you to write this?
This is Randy Chevrier special. In fact, I was looking way back in the archives to see if I could find. We had done this before on the air in the Fan 960, and I wanted to see if I could adapt an old one. I couldn't find it. We did a Halloween version, but I had to just readapt a whole new show. I wanted to pay tribute to some of our friends and guests that join us. I want to pay tribute to Trey and some of the things we're going to talk about today. And I waited till after work. I had the idea all day. I got to get this down, but I was like, I got it. I was kind of foaming at the mouth to take about 45 minutes to write this thing. I mean, it didn't just write itself. It took about 45 minutes, but I'm glad we pulled it off. We didn't even stumble too much. This was a good one.
Not too bad. You did say in the original scripting, that little, originally you said, Ernie and Diane were in Saskatoon.
Yes.
And you rhymed with moon or something, but they're actually in Regina. So I had to come up with something on the spot.
Yeah. And you rhymed
there's not
with
too many
blanket.
words that you can say that rhyme with Regina.
Fun.
So yeah, I said Diane's blanket. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's great. It's fun. I'm glad we did that. Like I said, a little more effort into this one. A couple of things we mentioned in the poem. I think we start with the big bomb that went off. We were going to keep it so festive and stuff, but you cannot avoid if you live in Canada or you follow Canadian politics, what happened yesterday was an absolute, not just a disaster for, I think, the Liberal Party, but a disaster for Canada. Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister, on the day she has to deliver the sort of state of the financial union address, a financial statement that was going to show that we had a $62 billion debt that we're servicing, she resigns. And she resigned because she was actually fired on Friday from that position by Justin Trudeau. He told
so,
her,
and that's the thing. So did she resign, or she fired and she just made it public? But what I loved about it was the play on it, because this is your typical Trudeau, the true narcissist. Everything's about him, and hey, just play along. And on Friday, he calls her up and says, "You're no longer going to be my finance minister." Those of you that have been paying attention is because there's an argument about, did they promise a $40 billion deficit? It's already at $62 billion. I'm sure that's cooking the books. And Trudeau wanted to put another $6 billion on there. So what he said to Chrystia Freeland was, okay, you're no longer going to be my finance minister, but do you mind showing up on Monday morning and giving Canada the bad news? I really don't want to do it myself. What a bad move is that, to throw her under the bus that way, to make it public that she's the one making this announcement. And then the next day he would publicly cut her legs out from underneath her and announce Mark Carney as our new finance minister. I mean, that's just a bad move.
But I don't think Carney was officially announced yet. Like I think he's been offered the job, but he hasn't taken it. But right now, I don't think we have a finance minister.
No, we didn't. No, they named another buddy of his today. It was worse than that, Chev. I think he had talked to Carney about it, and Carney said, "Well, if the position's clear, I'll take it." This is my take on it. This is Nasty's take on the Christmas news. And he said, I'll handle Christie. It'll be all good. And come Monday, it wasn't so good. And so, now Carney's he's just backed right out of there. He wants no part of this. He wants to be leader of the party next year.
Yeah. So where do you stand on this? Like, I mean, you mentioned a couple of things. One, Trudeau, super ultra narcissist. Chrystia Freeland, taking her power back, right? Like, I'm not a big fan of hers, but I kind of respect what she did. She's like, you know what? I'm not playing your game. And a lot of drama, lot of distraction from the real issues for sure, because Canada's facing some real issues. But this is a bombshell, and we mentioned in the poem. Is Trudeau done? Like, not only Trudeau, like, she was one of his staunchest supporters. She was his number 2. She took so many bullets for him in the last 8 years, and now she quit on him. And so many ministers quit. His cabinet is empty. Another minister quit at the same time. Randy Boissonneau a couple of weeks ago. There was a scandal. There's been scandal after scandal. Ministers quitting after ministers quitting. Is this the end?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, this whole thing ended months ago, right? And now it's just a matter of time. And it's kind of funny. It's fun to watch them squirm. But in the meantime, we've got big changes coming in 2025. And folks, we'll get out of politics and start looking forward to the year.
I got a couple others.
This is just going to speed it up. Jagmeet Singh's still going to get his pension in February because they're not going to announce the election until January.
Well, there's a duplicitous guy in his self. Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP party, for the last year and a half, almost to 2 years, people have been asking him to vote to strike a non-confidence motion against the Liberal Party. He's basically holding the Liberal Party up. At every turn, he questions Trudeau's leadership. Even yesterday, he said, "Listen, we got to get rid of this guy. This guy is terrible for our country." And then in the next breath, they ask him, "Well, are you going to support a non-confidence motion?" And he says, "Well, all options are on the table." Like, he's cooked as well. Like,
he is cooked. But as of the end of February, he's got his $220,000 a year pension for life. And the whole play, well, I'll keep my options open. And then today they came out and said, well, likely February or March. And it is so transparent what they're doing. I mean, that's just the state of Canadian politics. That's the reason we're in this trouble. That's the reason that we have a 69-cent dollar right now. I don't remember being that bad since I was in college in the 90s. I mean, you can't even go on vacation to the States right now because it's almost like we're becoming their peso. So things have to things have to happen. Things have to change. And I think what we saw this week is just going to speed that up. Thank God. And Pierre Poilievre today in Parliament, he said, there's a lot of distractions. The country's paying attention to the drama that is the Liberal Party, but they shouldn't. We should be facing the issues. And he talked. He had a great speech. If you go online today, take a look at Poilievre's speech in the House of Commons, talking about Canadians getting back to the dream, like the promise of, if you work hard, you can have a decent life, not a frivolous life, but a life where you can buy a house, you can have your kids, raise them in a good neighborhood, have a little plot of land. And this last government bankrupted that dream. He had that. But I'll get back to Chrystia Freeland, whether you like her or not.
whether you support that decision or not. I mean, one thing she did do on her way out, which I thought was great, is we are going to get a new face on our $5 bill. And this is a positive thing. So Terry Fox, Canadian hero, for those of you that don't know the story, unless maybe Americans don't know, but Terry Fox had cancer, ran across Canada, or tried to, didn't make it. But every year we commemorate Terry Fox with the Terry Fox Run. Schools do it all across Canada. Kids get geared up. It's part of Canadian culture. People say, what is Canadian culture? Terry Fox Run is part of Canadian culture, and they've raised over, I believe it's $800 million for cancer research. I believe he ran across Canada in 1981. This is before the internet. This is before things go viral. This was one guy's mission, and Terry Fox, Canadian hero, to see him on the $5 bill, I think that's a great move. Sheldon, where you stand with this?
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's been a lot. Our culture's changed a lot in the last 15 years, or at least since Trudeau's been involved. And I think we've been moving to that post-national state, where Canada's a post-national. No, we're not. We're Canada. We're built by Canadians. We're built by immigrants, but we should never forget our heroes. And quite frankly, Terry Fox, can you name me anybody as Canadian as that guy? I mean, we grew up when we were in school, you in Montreal, me in Saskatchewan, we did the Terry Fox Run. We learned who this guy was. He was probably the most famous person you knew at the time that you're 6 years old, right? And it's just carried through our Canadian lore, a guy that went against all odds. There was no winning for him, right? He wasn't going to buy his way out of his cancer, but he wanted to make a difference. And he sure did. He didn't make it all the way across the country. And it started as a small thing on the West Coast, but he just kept going every day, one leg hopping with his prosthetic leg until he just couldn't do it anymore. And to me, I mean, he's one of the biggest recognizable heroes in Canadian lore. And absolutely. I would have given him a bigger bill. I would have given him the 20. That's the only difference I would have done.
Post-war hero, Terry Fox is the biggest. Terry Fox is the biggest. The pride of Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. Are we calling? So we got the Looney, we got the Toonie. Is the $5 bill going to be called the Terry, or is it?
I think we can start that right here.
The Terry. I like the Terry. You got a Terry. I don't even have a Terry in my. I'm dad. I'm dad. I got 3 kids. I don't even have Terrys. I don't even have Loonies in my wallet. Speaking of loonies, woke up to some loony news. CFL big trade. Trey put it on the chat today. Montreal Alouettes send Cody Fajardo to the Edmonton Elks, and the Edmonton Elks send McLeod Bethel Thompson to the Alouettes. Now, we knew that there was a potential that Bethel Thompson was on his way out. We've been talking about this the last few weeks. If you follow our show, we've been really talking about Trey Ford, the Edmonton Elks, the rebuild that's got to go on there, and it was going to be on the shoulders of Trey Ford. We knew that McLeod Bethel Thompson, his future was cloudy. Well, today it's clarified. He is gone. He's gone to Montreal. But the curious thing is the Fajardo move. Sheldon, where do you sit with this?
I'll tell you, Chev, when I first saw this, when this first came across to my attention, I couldn't figure it out. Like, honestly, I was like, all right, who got better? Why? I jumped onto Twitter, and there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's a good move, but the Elks fans are hating it right now. The Elks fans wanted to see Trey Ford. So it took me a little bit. I think I've got a couple of theories on why they made this trade and why it might actually turn into a good thing. But the first thing that came across my head is why? Who wanted this? Who asked for it? Did it have to happen? Did anybody get better? Chev, what's your take on it?
My take is this. Listen, the Edmonton signed Trey Ford, and they gave him the keys to the Porsche, and that's it. He's going to be the starting guy going. That's what they told him. That's the plan. But you got to be smart. In this league, you got to be smart that, first of all, Trey Ford, we talked about it last week. He gets hurt a lot. He hasn't completed 2 seasons. He played 18 games in 2 years. Okay, started 18 in 2 years. He got hurt many times. He's a mobile quarterback. He runs a lot, but he also gets hit a lot. I personally don't believe the body of work is there to just hand him the keys, but they're going to do that. But any smart GM, and Ed Hervey in Edmonton is a smart GM, needs a more than serviceable backup. They've had bad backups before when they know what happens. But they knew that McLeod Bethel Thompson was not happy with the situation and he wanted out. So they got rid of him. Great move, bringing a guy like Cody Fajardo. The Fajardo thing is curious to me because really, when we go back 2 years ago, Montreal being sort of that laughing stock heading into the playoffs, he was the guy that delivered them the Grey Cup. Like, they had great defensive play, they had great receivers, but Cody Fajardo delivered them the Grey Cup. And they were a few plays from going back there this year with him. And he had a pretty decent season. Like, so McLeod Bethel Thompson threw for 3,700 yards, just about. He's fifth in the league, and he's second in touchdowns, 24, and he missed half the season. Fajardo, 3,100 yards, not as many touchdowns. He had 16, but the thing that's waiting wings for Montreal is Davis Alexander, who took the place of Fajardo when he got hurt. So I guess Montreal is seeing the same thing that they see with Trey Ford. We got a young guy. We want him to be the starter, but if he falls flat on his face, we got someone to back him up. And I can't understand, in Edmonton especially, why I know Trey's up in arms, and I know
I'll tell you.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because he doesn't have the body of work, because nobody trusts him. All he's done in the last 2 seasons is whenever there's an injury, he goes in and has the best record of any starting quarterback in the Elks organization.
Yeah.
But his window is about this big. If things start getting foggy on the outsides, they're going to yank him and they're going to put in Fajardo. Fajardo,
they haven't said that.
Fajardo's only 32 years old. He is not done going for that starting position. They need to pick a starter so that they can design an offense around it. And I'll tell you what, this move, they paid him starter money, but you cannot convince me that having Fajardo in the locker room coming off of 2 very successful seasons, and yes, he is a good quarterback, no doubt. But right now, that puts such a stain on Trey Ford's future with the club that if I were Trey Ford, I'd probably be asking for a trade right now. Now, the reason I think it's smart is what I saw today was MBT last year in January signed a 1-year deal. It was a 1-year, call it $300,000 or $400,000 deal, or I think it might have even been $500,000 to come to the Elks. The Elks were going to lose him. There was no way he's coming back. So I think from that standpoint, this was a trade just to get, instead of walking away with nothing, maybe having a second very capable quarterback is a good situation to be in. But I think it absolutely muddies the picture for Trey Ford. If I'm Trey, I'm probably looking for a trade because you know what? Winnipeg is going to be looking for a starting quarterback here in the next couple of years. I'd be looking for a better situation. If I'm a free agent, it is exciting to see a Fajardo go to a team with Fajardo, but the new kill him culture, I don't know, man. I've got some questions. I mean, it's just, I don't think that's how you handle a starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, the GM's job is not to make you happy. The GM's job is to bring competition into the room to push you. If Trey Ford can't handle competition, then he probably shouldn't be the starting quarterback. I mean, listen, in 2010, I signed a contract before free agency started. I gave the Stamps a hometown discount. The day of free agency, the first guy they signed was a long snapper of the Edmonton Eskimos, my buddy Tim St. Pierre. Yeah, sure. I was like, that was curious. But you know what? I trained my ass off and I went to camp and I won my job. And that's what you're supposed to do as a pro. They're not supposed to worry about your feelings. You go out there, you perform, you win the job, you get the job. They're giving him the benefit of the doubt. How they handle his early failures and blunders might be on the coaches, but no one said that he's going to lose his job or he has a short leash. But that's the job in pro sports. That is the job in pro sports. It's to handle competition. Look at the 49ers last week. Devindre Campbell. He walked out on the team, said, I'm not going to play because the starter comes back. The starter comes back and Campbell's upset. So he says he's not going to play. John Lynch lost his crap. The GM, John Lynch, president of football ops, took the elevator down, kicked him off the field. And now he's going to be suspended. I mean, if you can't handle competition, and we had Demetrius Maxey on, and we're going to release that next week. We talked about that with him. He said, today's athletes are soft. If you can't handle competition, you don't deserve the starting spot because it's tough. It's tough. And I think if Trey Ford's feelings are hurt after they paid him a whack of money, after they said you're a starter and they're hurt, he doesn't deserve to be the starter. And he's
I think it's more than feelings being hurt. It is non-confidence vote. There's the same reason Chrystia Freeland walked off the field. Listen, guys, I'm your guy or I'm not. And you're kind of our guy is not a good enough answer for Trey Ford or for the fans of the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, I think they were clear with him. I just think that they're not ready for a guy like Fajardo to come here, piss and vinegar. Like Fajardo's not ready to be a backup. I saw his Instagram story today. He is ready to compete. And that's what the Elks want in their locker room. They want quarterbacks competing. And if there's a chance that Fajardo's going to be better than Trey Ford, I think both of them are going to be playing because they're both injury-prone guys.
I think if there's a chance, even a chance he's going to be better than Trey Ford, he's going to get the nod, and Trey Ford's going to get washed into the mess behind. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, it wasn't a very good Christmas present for Trey Ford. I see we got a lot of thoughts. Jamin's thinking he's going to join his brother in Winnipeg. That could be happening. This could be a part of a bigger move. But you know what, guys, we're going to take a break. While we do, Trey's going to start putting up some of the links. Second segment, guys, we're going to put it open. If anybody wants to jump on, like Chevy was saying, it really helps if you have earbuds or headphones, just so we don't get the feedback. But it works on your phone, it works on your laptop, it works on your iPad. So right now we're going to go to break. Again, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure like, subscribe, and and even share. Let's get this off to some of your other peeps that might be awake right now. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and all the other channels where you usually find your podcast. But with that, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, let's see which of you we're going to get on the show. We'll be right back.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Welcome back. It's The Ride, the holiday edition, Christmas edition, whatever you want to call it. We're powered by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business. You can find our show. We release this episode every Friday on YYC Business. Great supporters. You guys that listen in every week. We love seeing your comments. We love hanging out with you. It's Christmas time. Really, I don't know, like there's two ways this can go at Christmas. It could be very fun and celebratory and festive and really kind of getting immersed in it, or it could be stressful. Sheldon, for you, is Christmas time generally a fun time or is it a stressful time?
You know what? I try to keep it fun. I mean, there's always a lot of stuff going on at Christmas. But for me, honestly, I really feel the joy of Christmas. My favorite thing, even my boys are now teenagers. I'm real excited. They have 2 days left of school. And then it just so happens that Christmas really does coincide with my slow time in my business. It's my time when I do a lot of looking back at the year, planning for the following year, working on social medias and stuff like that. But my favorite thing about this time of year is I get time to cook. Like, for instance, like I'm a cook. I'm not a baker. But this year I'm challenging myself to make Christmas cookies. And I've never done it before, but I've got a recipe for Nanaimo bars. I've got a recipe for peanut butter chocolate cookies and for gingerbread cookies. And I'm going to work on all that stuff. Today I practiced a little bit. I made biscuits
nice.
After school for the boys. Never made biscuits before in my life. So for me, when I get a bit of a slowdown over Christmas, it's tight. You're spending way too much money and a lot of times there's too much travel. But I really enjoy just trying to take a little bit of downtime, cook some stuff for my family, and watch a ton of Christmas movies.
Yeah. What movies have you watched so far? Like which is the couple you've been into so far?
Well, you know what? I actually watched one this weekend that I thought I guess it's a movie. It's really cool. I don't even know what it's called, but what it is, the premise of it is it's a murder mystery. And what they do is in this one, they murdered Santa and you had to figure out who killed him. But what they did is they had a whole cast of actors with a script, but they bring in two actors that don't have a script. They don't even know what it's about. They know it's a murder mystery, but they don't know what the roles are going to be. And they got to figure out from scratch. So this year's Christmas murder mystery was with Jason Bateman and Maya Rudolph. And
they're funny.
Oh, and they just improv so well. Like it was, and of course there's cameos and people coming in out of the show, but it's so raw. There's some groaner moments that don't exactly work, but then you got these hilarious moments. And for me, watching stuff like that, I don't know, it just kind of gets me in the spirit, right? I still like go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of cameos, we got a cameo here. We got Jamin gonna join the show. So Trey, let's put Jamin on. Jamin, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Christmas.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Jamin.
Sorry if you get a lot of noise.
Is that your squeaky toy?
That's my squeaky toy. So Prince had a seizure tonight, and now he's in his play mode, of course, right during this time. But that's okay.
That's awesome. Okay, well, tell us what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie. Well, this is kind of why I put this on. If you can see that, it is.
Is that Rocky and Bullwinkle?
That's the moose from Christmas Vacation.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. You know the moose glasses.
Yep.
So that's definitely my favorite one. And then another favorite of mine is Four Christmases, just because I think it's hilarious. Because that's Christmas time when you have many Christmases. It's a good
Vince
story.
Vaughn. Vince Vaughn.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to get you to tilt your screen down just a little bit so we can see a little bit more of you. A little bit. There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Good. So Jamin,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say. So here's another thing. So you've got one of those interesting situations where you're not a Christmas baby. You weren't born on the 25th, right? But you've got a birthday coming up, the 21st.
Yes.
So
20th
or the 20th.
Yeah.
So as a kid, did you absolutely love your birthday? Was it far enough from Christmas that you got birthday gifts and Christmas gifts? Or was it one of those things where it all got kind of tied into Christmas?
It kind of all got tied in. I normally get something but the thing is, if you wanted a big gift, it was great because you could get one for both. That was the good thing as a kid I found that I got.
So you actually got a good one for your birthday and then a good one 5 days later for Christmas.
Well, no. Like I say, I could either get a couple things or if you wanted the big Transformer set or something as a kid, then it could be both Christmas and birthday, right? Like, well, if you want that, this is going to be your Christmas and your birthday gift.
Right.
So together in one.
So Jamin, I want to talk more, but we got lots of people actually waiting. So we're gonna say Merry Christmas to you. Enjoy the squeaky toy. Enjoy the movies. I love the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I haven't watched that one yet, but that's next on my list. So thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nasty,
Merry Christmas,
we got some people waiting, but that is a great movie. The National Lampoon's. The one I watched this weekend was the Rock's movie Red One. And it got blasted in the theaters. Like, critics hated it. Apparently The Rock did something unprofessional on the set, but I watched it on Saturday or Sunday night with the boys, and I thought it was fun. It was a good Christmas adventure movie, kind of like the Netflix ones with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Just fun adventure, a new type of adventure, and I thought that was good. But Die Hard was a staple. National Lampoon will be one. I love Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn because that's going to kind of be my Christmas. I'll talk about it later. But we had Rob Evans was waiting on the line. Let's see if Rob is with us. Rob, you there? Ho, ho, ho. Are you there?
No, I'm here trying to figure out the cam, I guess.
Well,
while you're figuring out that, at least we can hear you. Rob, what's your Christmas break look like? Do you get much of a break? Are you a movie guy? I think I've heard that you've cooked before. Do you bake? Are you going to be there making Christmas cookies and stuff like that with me this year? Or what's your thing at Christmas?
No, actually tomorrow, my wife and middle son are baking.
You're
they're
baking
doing the baking. I'm the turkey carving guy, I guess.
and cookie quality control, right?
Well,
Just to make sure that the
exactly.
kitchen's not putting out bad stuff at Christmas.
Exactly, because you don't want to send out overcooked cookies.
No.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Rob is also the fire chief in Redwood Meadows. Rob, are you working shift on this, or your entire family works? I believe you guys all work the same shift. Are you working on Christmas, or what's the story there?
Well, because we're volunteer, Chev, we're always on, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
as you're always on. If you're at home, you're on.
Okay.
But we do have duty shifts, duty crews. And on Christmas Day, our family always picks it because we're in town. All of our family is in town. So if the pager goes off, we're first up for sure.
Okay. So
And that's not for the 911. That's
not
not for the 911, but that's actually for any calls, first responder calls you have to go out to, or what are you on call for?
So our area is the west end of the Sutina Reserve, Redwood Meadows, Bragg Creek, down Highway 66 into K Country. So we get all the tobogganing accidents out Highway 66, stuff like that. It's kind of sad, but we usually do a house fire on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
it's usually good for one. I can't remember one in our response area, but we'll go mutual aid. We'll take our tender, our water truck, and help out Springbank, like Elbow Valley, Rocky View Fire, Foothills Fire. We'll help them out with water supply. Usually is the type of call we get.
Yeah, I guess because everybody's got houses full, cooking. You've got everything plugged in. A lot of X factors, I guess, over the Christmas.
A lot of times people will go out skiing and leave something in the fireplace, or they'll have a chimney fire they don't know about and go off skiing. And the next thing you know, the neighbor's calling in the house on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, Rob, we wish that it is a quiet Christmas for you. I hope you get to enjoy the time around the dinner table with the family. And if a call comes, you at least had a chance to enjoy the dinner, so you don't have to go back to the cold dinner like many a time at the fire hall.
Chevy, you've been out of the hall too long. You said the Q word.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. That's like that's like the S word at the end of a hockey game. That's 3-0, and you're just hoping that the young guy can pull off the shutout. I said it there. Yeah. So by saying shutout, I think I just unjinxed you, Rob. I think you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
You're right. I was out of the hall. Actually, today I was at the 911 center and I said hi to Erin for you. And she said she's going to say hi to you for me. So there you go.
I was talking to Erin tonight, actually. So
there you go. Well, they miss you out there. And we're so happy you joined us tonight, man. Merry Christmas. Sheldon, I'll let you let Rob go and we'll get to our next
Rob, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you and your family have an amazing Christmas, and we'll catch up with you in the new year.
Right on. You guys too.
Okay, right on, brother.
Thanks, Rob. We got Tamron and Drew waiting next.
Is it Tamron and Drew, or is it Tamron and Drew? Oh, there we got Tamron. Hey guys, what's going on?
So Trey's girlfriend and roommates, I guess, roommates.
Yeah,
best friends, roommates. Is Trey doing a good job? Is he on the is Trey on the naughty or the nice list? We were going to ask you this when I saw your names come up. We have to find out what type of dude Trey is.
I think we would more. I think we would have different answers.
Okay, Tamron, go ahead. Tamron, go ahead.
I need an example of each. Let's hear it.
I think he would be in the middle.
Oh.
So what kind of guy? I don't know how long you guys have been together, but what kind of guy is Trey? What can we expect from Trey around the house in over the Christmas season? Is he going to be baking you guys Christmas cookies, or is he just going to eat everything that you guys made or bought? Does he put up decorations, or does he leave it to you?
We have like a 1-foot Christmas tree sitting right beside our fireplace.
Okay.
Drew and I did decorate it. Trey didn't put any funds in to purchase the Christmas tree or put it up, and we would be the ones that would be baking the cookies, but he would be eating them.
Yeah, there you go.
He's like a Grinch. He's the Grinch. He is the Grinch. He's the Grinch. Drew, what do you have to say about Trey? Is he like right next to you guys? He's probably
no. He went home. We're all home.
Oh, okay. You're all home for the holidays. Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I would
So
just
so
agree with Tom.
did you guys
Well-
get to do like a Festivus like before everyone left? Did you do a little Christmas gathering, a gift exchange, Secret Santa, any of that cool stuff that like young folks do, you know, when they have energy and time?
I would say we didn't this year because we're all broke college students and we need to
There you
save
go.
our money for tuition and textbooks next semester. But I'm sure we will go for a nice dinner when everyone gets home.
Right. I'll tell you what, guys, if my Christmas baking turns out, no promises, my first time doing it, but if my Christmas baking turns out the way that I hope it will and the way I see it in my mind, I will send you guys home with a nice little cookie box for Christmas, complete with a little bow and all that stuff. Not to show Trey up, but just to guide the young man, right? You got to have more skills than just your golf game and your producer game. You got to make sure you're taking care of decorating that tree, putting lights up on the place, and do a little bit of cooking.
Yeah, get off the naughty list, Trey.
That's it.
Well, guys,
wanted
thanks.
to say
Go
I
ahead.
beat. What is it? I actually am a Christmas baby.
Okay.
So-
Oh, no way.
December
Yeah.
25th.
I am.
Okay, tell the story then, because I've heard mixed things from people, but I think, yeah, tell this. What is that like? Do you look forward to your birthday, or do you feel like it's kind of lost in the wash?
No, I look forward to my birthday. There's lots of different things that my family does so that I feel celebrated. But the funny story when I was born was we were actually at the hospital, and I guess when my mom gave birth to me, my dad was actually watching the World Juniors preview. So that's the big joke in the family.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
Chevy and I have had episodes where we talked about if you get that call, it's a playoff game and you have to play in the playoffs, but your wife's going to have a baby. Do you play? Do you not play? But apparently we said we'd play, but your dad was like, yeah, you know what? Or we said we wouldn't play. We would take a playoff game off. I think
Yeah.
we said that. But your dad's like, no, it's World Juniors. Sorry. I'll
Yep.
let me know how it goes. Text
Pretty
me.
sure it was a good year that year too, so I don't blame him.
Oh,
Whatever.
there you go. Right
Well,
on,
guys, gonna say thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas to both of you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday and great New Year coming up.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
Okay, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
All right. Well, you know, that was kind of fun. I don't know if we have anybody else on.
You know, I was going to tell you, you know, we started by asking if it was stressful or not. I mean, it sounds like you're into it. Like, I don't have time to bake. Like, I got to tell you, like this week, I'm working all week. We're doing the show. I've got a couple of, I went to meet someone yesterday. I went to, you know, just catching up on a couple of things. I don't have the boys this week. I actually get them back on Christmas Day, but my next week, it's hectic, but I'm not stressed about it. It's hectic, but I'm driving to Red Deer on Friday, go see Brittany. We're going on Sunday to watch the Oilers game in Edmonton. We're coming back to Red Deer for Saturday night. Sunday, I'll be in Red Deer. Monday, I drive home so I can fix up my house for Christmas. But I'll drive back to Red Deer for Christmas Eve, spend it with her and her kids. Christmas Day, I drive back to Calgary to get my kids at about 3 p.m. from their mom's house. Then at 10 p.m., my sister is coming in town with her 3 daughters. And then that's 10 p.m. The next morning, we're getting up, the whole crew, we're all driving to Drayton Valley to have Christmas with Brittany's family. So they're taking us all in. They're taking me in, my boys, Brittany, her kids. We're going there for 3 days, come back to Calgary for 2 days. Then we're going to do New Year's Eve and New Year's in Red Deer with Brittany and her kids. And then my sister leaves, and that's like the whirlwind a week that I'm going to have.
You know what, Chev? I used to have too much stuff going on at Christmas too. And I get it. Like realities are realities. But I think we're going to take a break. But when we come back, I'm going to tell you about, that's when we started our family. That's what our Christmases look like. Family Regina to Edmonton to North Battleford. And we made a choice to simplify because we could. It was an option for us. But I like quieter Christmases. And if I get the downtime, and even when it's a little bit busy, I'm still going to make the downtime. Much like you're going to Oilers game. That's awesome. I'm going to watch the Oilers game at home, and I'm going to cook.
And you know that last year, those who listen to the show, our family had a traumatic event, right? My sister lost her husband a few days before Christmas. So this is the same sister. She just wants a change of scenery. And she said, Red, she's like, I don't want to be in the house at Christmas. I just need to get through the first year, all the anniversary. She's like, I just want to be with you in your tiny house with your tiny tree. I'm like, let's do it. And it's going to be, at first I was stressed. I'm not going to lie. At first I was stressed because you know the size of my house.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I get stressed about that. Where am I going to put everyone? It's winter. It's not like we can just kick the kids out. But you know what? We're going to just be together. And I talked about it last year. The day before everything went down, we talked about this is your joy. You see it right behind me right there at the top. It's about finding your joy. And it doesn't matter how packed your house is going to be. It doesn't matter if you had a chance to make cookies or not. You make joy with the people that are around you and you make choices. And for me, at first I was super stressed about this. I was like, oh man, this is going to be nuts. Like, I got to go here. I gotta go. And I'm just like, you know what? Everyone's going to be together. We're going to have a great time. There's going to be some bumps and some hiccups, but those are stories. It's the ride, right? I'm definitely going to be on the ride for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to need the break that we have from the show because I won't even be home. But I'm excited. I know you're excited. And so far, it's been a great ride. Thanks for Rob Evans for jumping on. Thanks, Jamin. We had the squeaky Jamin. We had the no camera Rob Evans. And then we had Drew. We did a pretty good job. Trey, great job producing. Trey, you got to do some work to get off that naughty list. We want you on the nice list. And speaking of, we're going to take a quick break. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to give you Chevy and Nasty's Nasty and Nice list. Now, remember, we're on all socials at Chevy and Nasty, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X. The podcast will drop on Spotify and Apple Podcasts tomorrow, so you can download it. We're also on TikTok, YYC Business. But the one thing I know about this whole internet world and podcast world, if you have a chance, guys, I know we love you. I know you love us. Try and leave a little review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Drop us 1 star and a little note. Hey, Chevy and Nasty. Nasty's got great hair. Something to let them know that you're listening to us. Because I think that actually helps get us out to more people if people actually share the story. Because we appreciate sharing with you guys. And we're going to do a little bit more sharing when we get right back after these messages.
But what was that like mentally? Going into the Eastern final and losing them and knowing, at least in the back of your mind, I don't think anybody's ever gone into a Grey Cup game with this backup quarterback and been able to pull out a win. I mean, what was that like in the locker room and as a coaching staff dealing with that?
Well, the confidence that we had as a coaching staff and as players, everything was an open book and we communicated well, and we knew that once we had the players to buy into the things that we were saying, that it was going to be a successful finish for the season, right? So the confidence was always there. The energy was always there. The players gave max effort throughout practice and in the film room and definitely turned it over into the game. So we knew and we felt that this game was going to be ours, right? So because the confidence level was talked about at the first jump of the season, starting at training camp.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Just a little tease from the show we did with Demetrius Maxey the other week. We will be releasing, I don't know, this week, next week.
We're releasing that one on the 23rd. We're giving, and the reason again, let's be honest. We forgot to tee it up. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. We were a little naughty there. We were too good to get to the commercial. It's gonna release on the 23rd. As Trey mentioned, it's our little Christmas gift to you. We interviewed our former teammate, defensive line coach with the Toronto Argonauts, Grey Cup winning Toronto Argonauts. Really great insights. We talk a little bit about Edmonton today and the quarterback trade and things that they got to go through. It's going to be interesting what happens in Edmonton. But D-Max was in Edmonton before he came to Toronto. He talks a little bit about that and the atmosphere that was there that just got changed, right? So there's a lot there. It's pretty cool. We're releasing it on the 23rd. Again, like and subscribe. That's how you'll get that notification that it's dropped. We're going to drop it on the 23rd. Trey's going to put it together. Another thing we're excited about, on Monday, we had a great interview. Yeah. Great interview. This one's going to drop in the new year with Maven Maurer. For those of you who don't know, Maven Maurer used to be known as Mike Maurer, one of Nasty's former teammates in Saskatchewan.
Also known as the Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Because when
two
we
Grey
were teammates,
Cups, 2 Grey Cups, most outstanding Canadian, 12-year career in the CFL, 3-1 record in mixed martial arts, real diverse background, including military, fire, and EMS. But this year, Mike Maurer, and I think the transition was long that it became Maven Maurer, is female, trans woman. And we talked a little bit about that because Maven Maurer went back to her 20-year Wall of Fame Grey Cup celebration with her old BC Lions teammates as Maven Maurer. It's the first time that her old world and her new world collided. Been getting a little bit of attention in the news. And I'd been talking with her since the summer because I really want to tell a story, a personal story. There's so much noise, right, Sheldon? We always talk about the noise, right? Like people form opinions before they even know or before they're exposed to something. And we just want to have an honest conversation. I thought,
quite honestly, I just had a ton of questions. Like, that's the sort of thing. Like when we were in the locker room 15 years ago, that wasn't a thing. I mean, so it certainly wasn't talked about. But I knew Maven back when she was Mike. We're roommates on the road for a few games. So for me, it was just fascinating because my first opportunity just to sit down with a former teammate that went through a whole different life experience than I did. And guys, is fascinating. Still just as dynamic a person. Some amazing stories. We talked everything from long snapping to now she's a train conductor. We talked everything from then to now and everything in between. Amazing story. You guys for sure want to catch that, but that'll be coming out closer to the new year.
Yeah, that'll be in the new year for sure. Next week is going to be D-Max. And like we said, we're committed to trying to bring you some good content without interrupting the flow of the live show. And the one thing we do in the third segment of the live show before we let you go, it's the Chevy and Nasty, not Nasty and Nice list. So here it is. It's the Nasty and Nice list. Do you want to start with Nasty or Nice, Sheldon? You.
Let's go back and forth. Let's start with a nice one. Let's start with a nice one. When I look back on the course of this year, one of my favorite events, and of course, Chev, when we started this podcast, it was just to, get reconnect with teammates and friends and stuff. But this one event that we held really opened up the doors in terms of what we could do. And it was the first live event we did with the help of Daryl with Performance Freight Management and the movie night that we had at the Cochrane Movie Hall, where we brought in about 130 guys, 150 guys. We fed them. We watched the Fall Guy, Brandon Gardner, the Hall of Fame rodeo announcer, Brett Gardner came in as a speaker. For me, dude, that was the first time where I felt like, oh, I love this community. I got to meet guys. I got to meet Rob Evans. I got to meet people that we just saw in the comments. And I got to meet him firsthand. For me, that was like a magical kickoff to the year. I love the event. And I hope we do more of them.
Yeah, I agree. That was so fun. That's where we met Trey. I became our producer. It was kind of a relaunch for us, right? We had just left that NGBN TV network. Yep. We wanted to do something grassroots. We felt for the year that we were with the network, it was always big events, which no problem, but we wanted to do local stuff. And this was our first foray into local, and it really felt like we gave back and saw some people that I hadn't seen in years. I had seen some friends that, they don't listen to the show necessarily, but they really enjoyed that night. We got a lot of positive feedback. Again, it was a nice night. I saw some firefighter buddies, including my friend Lloyd, who's no longer with us. It was the last time I had seen Lloyd. But yeah, I thought that was great. Brett, did a fantastic job. The prizes, the sponsorships, like we had everything. And I thought it was great. And again, that's where we assembled the team. Daryl, Trey, yourself and mine. And that's the team on the ride.
And since we're on the slide, you want to keep going because we got the slide up.
Yeah,
Let's go to our second one on the nice list.
Well, the second on the nice list has to be the Bret the Hitman Hart bar experience, Grey Cup. I mean, we put that event together in 8 to 10 days. And I joked that I was shaving my back while I was texting Bret the Hitman Hart to see if we could do it. When I found out he was going to be at the bar for Grey Cup, and we put it together, and it was such a great thing because so many things were great about. First of all, Bret, speaking to the people, Jamal at the Hitman bar saying, "Yeah, whatever you guys need, I got you." Like
Jamal was amazing. Jamal was amazing.
Before we even believed in us, and then Bruno, Daryl coming together with Adam's team to put together all the technical stuff that we had no clue if we could even pull off. And then, pulling it off, Trey there, Kurt Panio's story about meeting his idol, like
tears,
the whole day,
tears coming down.
Tears. Oh, that was, for me, that was nice. That definitely deserves to be on the nice list. Now, do you want to do a couple of naughties, or do you want to go back?
Let's mix in a couple of naughties, because not everything was nice during the course of the year. There's a few things that might merit some conversation here. Let's start off. Chev, you got Devondre Campbell.
You know what? Where I'll go.
He made your nasty list.
You know what? Where I'll go before that. Since we just talked about the Bret the Hitman Hart experience, one of the things that came out of that was Trey's dad dining and dashing on him. Trey's pops came in, enjoyed the show, enjoyed the Grey Cup, enjoyed the experience, but he knew the right time to just puff that man smoke and get out of there and leave his son with the bill. Now, you know what? As a dad, I'm giving him the man clap. But you know what? For Trey wanted dad to be the dud or on the nasty list, but you know what, Trey, he's still going to feed you at Christmas, so he can't be too nasty. But do you want to go ahead with one of your naughties, or
I'll go with one of mine, because this also leads in from that same night and the weekend before. Chev, we've got two bets in my recollection that were never settled. So at the end of the CFL season, we had a regular season tally, and I came out like a 1 or 2 games ahead, and we had a poutine going on it. We talked about it, that I'll be eating the poutine live on the show to enjoy the bet. You reneged on the bet, and you did it in the worst way possible. You're like, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. And then the day came, and I was like, there's no poutine. And then on the show, you pulled the Justin Trudeau. Well, I think you just experienced it differently than I did. I don't think we actually made a bet. I was looking through my paperwork, and I didn't see a signed contract. So therefore there's no bet. Well, Chef, that stung me. And then I clearly won my pick of the Toronto Argonauts winning the Grey Cup with Nick Arbuckle. And there's no poutine, Chef.
I feel like every bet we've made was surrounded in controversy. First of all, the first one for the poutine, you usually set the stakes at the beginning of the season before the season takes place. All of a sudden you won. It's like, oh yeah, I'm getting a poutine. I was like, oh, okay, is that what we bet? Sure. So, but it was kind of like, when you buy a timeshare and then you go home and you're like, well, how did I wind up getting sucked into a timeshare? I didn't even I just wanted the free tickets to Disneyland. That's exactly what happened on the first bet. The second one, I was fully ready, and I'm still going to buy you a Spalombos because technically you won. But I will say, when you shifted your pick, like you said, I'm picking Winnipeg. And I was like, okay, well, I got Toronto and I believe in the underdog, and I was all in. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at you and I'm like, this guy's really talking up to Toronto here. He's like, and then you just put your stamp on Toronto. I was like, well, shoot, I guess I got to pick Winnipeg just because. But
dude,
I will honor the Spalombos bet because in the end, I did, when I picked Winnipeg, I thought, yeah, you know what, they're the better team. I should win that one. Rubio says no, poutine is a good thing. Rubio, you know what? Poutine every day would be a good thing. When Rubio makes his way to Canada, we are going to we're going to do a poutine tour. We're going to have a poutine off. Can we do that?
Starting at Costco.
No, we're gonna
And then
bring the poutines in, and we're gonna have a poutine taste test. Rubio is gonna be one of the judges. I think that's
it's a
what we're
great
gonna
idea.
do.
I will
let's
say, I
continue.
got one more thing I got to add about that though.
Yeah.
Clearly, that is a Montreal thing because Trudeau's also from Montreal, right?
Yeah.
You know, say one thing, mean another. Because I did picture. I don't remember us having pre-designed picks because this is not a scripted show.
No,
and
it's not
I reserve the
scripted.
right to make it. I worked so hard to come up with an argument why Toronto could possibly win the Grey Cup. I convinced myself that they're going to win. I didn't know it was your pick. We never discussed picks beforehand. I might have said the week or two before I was leaning to Winnipeg, but I still feel good about that pick, and you could have picked them too.
I still think you flip-flop, but that's okay because going to our nice list, we have Nick Arbuckle, the quarterback that delivered you your Spalumbos. Nick Arbuckle was, 3 months from quitting football, didn't even have a team last year, gets invited to Toronto, gets cut, gets brought back to Toronto, was a third guy on the depth chart, worked his way up, just like Fajardo's going to do in Edmonton, worked his way up, and next thing you know, when Chad Kelly gets injured towards the end of the Eastern final, Toronto looks to one man to save them. The guy that had very little experience sort of that whole entire year goes in, starts as the backup, and wins the Grey Cup. Cinderella story for that guy. We got to get him on the show. That's one guy I want to get on the show. Nick Arbuckle, because that was a journey. Sheldon, you want to hit the last nice list before we go to the final two naughties?
The last one that so we already hit Trey, right? Trey got his love. I didn't see his picture pop up there, but Trey, who changed our show and got us from 2.5 hour episodes down to 1 hour, except for today, he gave us permission. There we go. There's Trey, our producer that came in and changed everything. We went from Tuesday from 11 till 1 o'clock show to Tuesday at 10:30 to 11:30, so a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Trey did an amazing job for a kid that's still in school. I mean, he's got a guy, he still has like braces and washes with Clearasil, and he looks like a little teen compared to us, but he's come in here and he's managed us so well that he's probably been the biggest godsend to this show all year long. But the last of the nice list, come on. Summer McIntosh.
Yes.
This little 17-year-old girl still in school.
18 now.
Well, she's 18 now. She's 18 now. Yeah. But at the Olympics in Paris, France, she was 17 years old, coming from a non-powerhouse swimming program to absolutely dominating swimming in the in this year's Olympics. I mean, just an amazing story. 17 years old.
She broke four records last week. She broke two last year.
Yeah, absolutely she did. She's the kind of girl, when you look at her and you come home from work and you look at your own kids, you just want to smack them. When they're up there arguing over Roblox and Siege or whatever your kids might be playing. Oh, fork knife. Yeah. You just want to smack them. But this girl did good. She represented Canada well. Or the great state of Canada, or however we're referred to now, but absolutely amazing story. Yeah, between her and Nick Arbuckle, those were my two feel-good stories of the year in Canadian sports.
Yeah, no, that I can't even argue with that. And we go to a naughty list. You mentioned it, Devondre Campbell. I followed this last Thursday on Thursday Night Football. Prior to the game, said, "Hey, I don't want to play. I was starting. The starting guy that I replaced comes back, and I'm not going to play." And he refused to go in, told his coach he wasn't going to go in. I guess John Lynch, who is, great Hall of Fame player, used to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe, the Denver Broncos as well. Lynch comes down and gets him kicked off the field. And, you know what? Good for John Lynch, but bad for Devondre Campbell. Players are not tough. We talked about that. Like, hey, listen, you get an opportunity to show what you can do. There's a pecking order when the starter comes back. Not every guy has the story like Tom Brady where they outplay the starter and then next thing you know they get the starting job. Generally in football, the rule is you don't lose your job to an injury. But you know what? If the starter is better than you, he's going to play. And if the coach is evaluating him as you better than you, he's going to play. And you got to wait your turn and you take your opportunities. And the modern athlete, we talk a lot about the NIL and the college ranks and what's going on now. They're not tough. And this guy walked out. He's going to be suspended for 3 games. He's going to have to forfeit his salary for the remainder of the season. And, at first it was reported that the 49ers cut him. But you know what? That would that would reward him. Cutting him would reward him because someone would scoop him up. Now he's sitting on the suspended list. They're not going to pay him. The team is working with the NFL and the NFLPA to ensure that this doesn't happen. Like, it's a team sport. Like, yeah, none of us want to be backups. I didn't want to sit on the bench in 2014 when my team won the Grey Cup, and I was clearly the better long snapper. But you know what? Coaches made a decision, and I found a way to have an impact in another way, and I wound up coming back the next year and playing again. So I have no space for this guy.
You know, not only that, wasn't there a little bit of instant karma? I can't remember the starter's name that famously tore his Achilles on the sideline in the Super Bowl last year. He came back, started this game, but didn't he go out of this game? Didn't he get injured again, banged up again?
Yeah, he get hurt. He got hurt again. Trey will flash.
You just don't know when your opportunity.
Dre Greenlaw got hurt.
Yeah, Greenlaw. Yeah, you just don't know when those opportunities are going to come. And the selfish move of taking a penalty if somebody gives you a shot after a play that hurts your team when you just got off the field, getting your ego in the way of being the best player you can for you. You don't know when that next shot's coming. Yeah. Brock Purdy did not even know if he would survive training camp. Yes. You go about it and you approach it like a pro. And if you approach it like a pro every single day, every single snap of every single game, people are going to take notice, and you will more than likely get your opportunity. But it's not going to be from Salk on the sidelines. I've never seen anything like that. And yes, Maxie said players are softer today than they were when we played. But you know what he also said? We were softer than the guys in the 70s and 80s. And that's also the truth, right? But granted, if you ever look at a guy that played in the 80s and 70s, all their fingers are all mashed up and they got limps. And so maybe it's not all a bad thing, but God, I can't wrap my head around that one.
But you just described what Trey Ford's going to have to do, whether he feels heat from Fajardo or not. He's going to have to be tough. He's going to have to show up, be a pro, play hard, do his job. And if he does his job, not worry about the competition, he should be fine, right?
I'll tell you what, you told a personal story. I'll tell a personal story.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I signed with the Stampeders, when I came from Saskatchewan, the first signing after I got there was Demetrius Maxey. I'm like, cool. Me and D-Max have played together before. The second signing after that was Hall of Fame legend Joe Fleming, defensive tackle. And I was like, what? I just signed with a team, and there's two guys that are future Hall of Famers. Where do I fit in? And I just continued my training, and I just continued my hard work. And by game one of the season, Joe Fleming was a defensive end. You know, now when we went to 3-4 on second down, I had to come out sometimes. I get a sack I had like 7 sacks my first year here. But they were all on first down because I got yanked on second down a lot. But the point of the matter is, you can't control what management's going to do. You can only control how you respond to it. And it might feel good to pull that pity party and show all your followers on Insta and Twitter, just how you're affected by it. But really, it's when you can inspire the people around you and show that you can play in any situation at any time. That's where you open up opportunities. So that's my speech on that.
And you know what? That's great because his teammates noticed. And right after the game, they called him out. George Kittle called him out. Everyone called him out. And they said, you know what? He needs to be gone. He needs to be traded. Last naughty list, Aaron Rodgers. Now, we've talked about Aaron Rodgers a lot. He was supposed to be the savior to the New York Jets. Last year, first game, tears the Achilles. Miraculous healing. Like for a guy, I believe he's 44 years old. Fantastic job coming back. But definitely from the coach getting fired to the offensive coordinator being demoted to the GM being fired, it was a train wreck. And Aaron Rodgers seemed to be always at the front of that. And it doesn't help that he's so public. With his appearances on the Pat McAfee show, he's so outspoken versus any sort of he definitely has a public persona that lends to the bad guy. It seems he's got this Netflix series that I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but I'm going to watch it. I want to know what makes him tick, at least from his perspective, the narrative he's telling. But yeah, I think he's on the naughty list because you know what? He was supposed to deliver the New York Jets, and they just won enough games that they're not even in the running for the first overall pick. They've got nothing. The cupboards are bare. They got Devontae Adams, but who knows if he's going to stick around. And I think it's all because of him. You know, I think he's the worm in the apple, and he's
so you think, you know, I'll tell you what, he's an easy target to hit on that, right? But if I'm looking at the New York Jets and I do just a little bit of the Google, a little bit of the Wikipedia, I don't think that he's the worm in the apple that brought down the Jets.
No, they were down.
I think
long
he's
time.
a symptom of the problem. Things didn't work out, and he's an easy guy if you don't agree with his politics or his positions on or his attitude. He's not the warmest guy, as we saw. A bad hug got a coach fired earlier this season, I believe. Right, an awkward hug.
Threw a couple of receivers on the bus under the bus early, like some things like that you're just like, well, we talked about that. He made our dud list for calling out his guys. We always thought, quarterback.
But I am going to watch that Netflix. I'm going to watch that. So Brian Urlacher came out today and spoke up for him on an interview I was watching. I think it was on Fox or something like that. And then I saw some clips of him on his Netflix special doing his ayahuasca thing, feeling at one with the universe. He's an interesting dude. I'm going to reserve judgment until I get to know him a little bit better.
Yeah, very much like the Ricky Williams back in the day, right? Very misunderstood superstar, came to the CFL. People wanted to hate him just because he was Ricky Williams. And yet Ricky's a great guy. From all intents and purposes, everyone that I know that's ever met Ricky knows he's a fantastic guy. Went back to the NFL, revived his career for a few years, and he's doing his own thing. And some people don't fit the mold of the professional athlete that wants to talk football all day and wants to be loved by everyone. Some people just want to do their own thing. They want to live in the mountains. Like he wants to live in Wisconsin where they got guns. I think he talked something about guns. He's like, yeah, we don't have much home invasions in Wisconsin. You know why? Because everyone has guns. You know where they have a lot of home invasions? In New York. No one has guns. So he's got some opinions that may be polarizing for some people. And I appreciate that about him. But that's why, for me, I have a judgment, but I'm willing to change my judgment. So I'm going to watch his show. But for now, he's on our naughty list. Sheldon, we're almost at the end. This is the last episode of 2024. We're looking forward to 2025. We're going to drop that Demetrius Maxey next week on the 23rd. So mark your calendars. It's coming out. It's going to be good. Sheldon, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
2025, Chev, I think the biggest thing for me, if we're talking about the show, I want to find a way with all these amazing guests and all the amazing viewers that we get on a weekly basis. I want to do more stuff in the community. Like this started, like we talked about, it started you and me just hanging out and talking. I want to get out there more often. And when we go for that Spalumbo's sandwich from the bet at the Grey Cup, I want to invite people along too. I want to do more of these events, get to know more people, and give more people an excuse just to go out there and experience the good and the joy. Like the world's been so backwards the last few years, but I get this feeling that things are turning around. The truth is starting to be spoken again. People are starting to have conversations. Politics have been so divided, but now it seems the picture's clearing up. Social issues have been so dividing, but I felt good having Maven on the show and just getting people talking again. Because you know what happens, Chev, when you get people from all different backgrounds together in a room, as long as it's not family at Christmas where they fight over politics and religion, good things happen when people actually have a conversation face to face, nose to nose, eyeball to eyeball, and not as keyboard warriors throwing opinions out when you're just surrounded by people that agree with you. I'm looking forward to bringing more of that to our city and our country next year.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, especially the part about doing more live events. First of all, you know what? One thing I got to show, I didn't show my Macho Man shirt that I'm wearing. I forgot. It took me a whole year. This is like, I wanted to wear this for an entire year. I've been waiting to wear it. I got it last year before Christmas, but there's a Macho shirt. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to some live events, more live stuff. That's very empowering. It feels like we're making a difference and we're connecting. And this community that we have is about connection. I feel connected to everyone that shows up on Tuesday, but sure do feel that when we get in a room and we do something fun, whether it was like the Hitman or the movie. So a couple more events like that. We're in the works. I'm also looking forward to more interviews. We tried to find a way to get good quality interviews in terms of how do we do it? How do we do that without disrupting our live show, that, our energy, we're Chevy and Nasty for a reason, because we have fun together. And now we found a format where we're going to record the interviews and release them. And I'm looking forward to going through the Rolodex and saying, hey, this person's interesting. This person's interesting, and going on. And now that we've done a couple, we realize an hour flies by. We have great conversations, great stories that spark those great conversations. And that's what I love. That's what the ride started as. And I believe we're going to bring more of that in 225. And of course, hopefully we all have our health, we all have our happiness, and we can be right back here next year talking about what a great year 225 is. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and more fun with the ride.
Yeah, right on. Guys, I think that's about all that we have for this week. But on behalf of Chev, Trey, myself, our executive producer, Daryl, guys, we just want to thank you for making this year so amazing for us, because it really was. There's a lot of growth, a lot of change happened this year, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. I love that we see the same guys every week jumping on with us. Honestly, I couldn't appreciate it more. So I just want to say Merry Christmas, guys. Enjoy your families. I hope everybody has a fulfilling Christmas. I know it can be tough, but try to find the joy, try to find the good things, and make sure that the people around you know that you love them. Chevy, last word to you.
Yeah, no, Sheldon, you wrapped it up so succinctly. I'm just looking forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks. Again, follow us on all our socials. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a review if you can. I think that's something I would love if you guys can do for us. But again, that D-Max interview is coming up on the 23rd. And if I'm going to say one last thing, I'm going to quote the famous Hans Gruber. I have a machine gun now. Ho, ho, ho. Peace out, guys.